Well, clearly South Australia's been hit by extreme weather conditions, and this has had a dramatic impact on the energy supply. I've just got off the phone to the head of the Australian Energy Market Operator, who's informed me that all measures are being taken to quickly restore energy supply to South Australia and identify the source of the problem. At the same time, I've spoken to Tom Koutsantonis, the Minister for Energy in South Australia and the Treasurer. He has confirmed to me that all the hospitals are okay. Their backup support has kicked in, as well as other important facilities, and we are just working together to ensure that all the emergency measures are put in place so that the electricity can be restored to South Australians as quickly as possible.
And how long is it going to take? Have you been given an indication of how long this blackout will continue?
I can't give you an exact time period, but as I understand, everything is being done, and hopefully it can be done very, very soon, because clearly this extreme weather event has had a dramatic and unfortunate impact on electricity supply into South Australia.
Hospitals and emergency services, you say, are on backup power, their own power generation, which is very good news. But you say you're working with the states. What can the federal government do at this point?
Well, the way the energy market works across South Australia, Victoria, Queensland, Tasmania, is through the national electricity market, with the Australian Energy Market Operator being responsible for the safety and the reliability of energy supply. So it is that body which has all the appropriate tools in its box to ensure that electricity supply can get up and running as soon as possible. So there's a lot of technical solutions that they're putting in place. They're also going to identify the source of the problem. There is an interconnector which supplies a large amount of electricity, just under 20%, into South Australia from Victoria, and clearly this has been impacted by the storm events, and it has had a flow-on effect across the network.
So that interconnector has failed, is that correct?
Well, we're just getting the full details of that, but it seems that the weather events have impacted upon the interconnector, and this has had a flow-on effect.
But Josh, there's been,
sorry,
Minister Frydenberg, there's been a lot of focus on that particular interconnector at a political level as well. Does this, do you think, give rise to the argument, an impetus to the argument, that there needs to be a second pipeline built to Victoria, because it's not good enough that a whole state, an entire state, is without power?
Well, there are actually two interconnectors between Victoria and South Australia. One's called the Murray Link and the other one is called the Hayward Interconnector, and the recent spike in prices in the South Australian spot market for electricity was due in part to the upgrade to that interconnector. Now, clearly, questions will be raised, serious questions will be raised that need to be answered as to how this extreme weather event could take out the whole of the electricity supply across a major state such as South Australia.
What questions will you be asking, Minister?
Need to ensure. Well, I'll be asking all those very hard questions, and no doubt my South Australian colleague will as well, because we cannot see a repeat of these events either in South Australia or in other parts of the network because of the implications that it has for the community.
Code Black, just repeating, has been declared in South Australia. This means that the Premier is now in a meeting with emergency services his council, trying to see what South Australia does next. The energy provider can't even give a timeline as to when power will be restored in South Australia. We are hoping to speak to the Premier on the phone, obviously, later in the program. But as we